Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls. I am your host and I am fired up today. I have an amazing lady on the show today. Her name is Kristy Morgan. I left off it's Rutgers Morgan, right? Am I saying that
That's
right?
my maiden name. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't hyphenate it.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so
No.
Kristy Morgan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So grateful that you took the time, and I know it's early out there on the almost West Coast, right?
Yeah, not too bad. It's 8 o'clock. Not too bad.
Yeah. So Kristy, I was telling you earlier, or I guess last night when we talked, I created this show to help people get unstuck in life, and I think that. As you know, I know we all get stuck, right?
Yep.
And some people stay stuck and they don't know how to get unstuck. And so I've had some amazing guests on the show, including you. And I'd like to have you kind of just share your story about your setbacks and how you overcame them and things like that. But let's start with telling everybody where you were born and raised.
I am originally from Leamington, Ontario. So I was born and raised in Canada, the most southern town in Canada, right on Lake Erie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Right across the lake. My wife grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania.
No way. We lived there for 5 years.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was born in Cleveland but raised in Erie, PA.
Okay, so Leamington's directly across from Sandusky, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep.
I've been halfway there. I've gone out to Kelly's Island and Put-in Bay and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been there?
Every summer.
Oh, that's awesome. We were literally just talking about it the other day, like we need to go up to the lake. We haven't been. It's only like an hour and a half from here. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. Small world.
Very small.
So you were born and raised in Canada.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I was there for 21 years until I decided to go to graduate school. So I went to University of Windsor and got my bachelor's in Windsor, Ontario, and then I decided to go to graduate school for chiropractic, and I went to St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Very cool. So you went to chiropractic school in St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then like after that, after chiropractic school, I know a lot of chiropractors too, but and I know a lot that never make it. Like they just don't make it in business. Some of them, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, like what happened after chiropractic school?
Sure. Yeah. We in chiropractic school is where I met my husband.
Okay.
I met him in St. Louis, and then we moved back to Pennsylvania, and we settled in Erie, and we were there for almost 5 years. He set up a practice right in Erie, and then I set up my practice in Girard. So we were right outside of.
Shut up!
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was there for 5 years.
Hold it. There's my wife's on here. She said I went to Fairview.
No way.
Her dad was a sailor, so they used to sail to Leamington from Sandusky every summer. She said, I love it there.
Crazy.
So,
yeah, that's crazy.
So I think Girard is where there's this really unbelievable pizza place, and I think it's Girard. Maybe
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. I don't recall, but I'm sure my wife does for sure.
Yeah.
She's on here. She'll bring it up, I'm sure. But so wow, that is crazy how small this world is. So your husband set up practice in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And you were in Girard.
Yep, we lived in Erie.
Okay. So you had two separate practices.
Yes. So we always, we never really wanted to go into business together. It was just, I'm very independent, and that was never something that I ever thought of doing. So when we started practice, we set up, we were like 20, 25 miles away from each other, which was far enough. So yeah, he was in Erie, and then I set up my practice in Girard.
Wow. Jill, my wife Jill just said, I went to the dentist in Girard.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Amenta, Amenta or something like that. Amenta. But anyway, so, and it was probably before you were there.
We were there in '04. We graduated in '04.
'04. Okay.
Yep. So we were there for 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, she ended up moving to Ohio in like 20 or not. I don't know what year. She was 13, I think, or 12, okay. 13 years old. But anyway, so you both had your separate practices, and Girard is in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's right on the border. It's not right on the border. It's very close to Conneaut, so Girard and then Conneaut, Ohio. So you're getting closer to the Ohio border.
She literally, as you said, Conneaut. She typed in Conneaut is where the pizza place is. It's called Piezies or Peasies. It's a hole in the wall, but anyway, that's crazy. So, so you were. So, tell me how it went from there, though. Like you had these two practice locations in Pennsylvania.
Yep. So we were there for 5 years. Okay. And we picked Erie because Tom's originally from Greensburg, just outside of Pittsburgh. I'm from Leamington. So this was a place that was kind of, halfway in between. He went to Gannon, so he knew the area.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, it started, we really wanted something a little bit different. I think the weather really got to us.
Yeah.
We were starting to get really tired of the snow and the dreariness, and we just happened to that's when Facebook was really just starting, and I reconnected with a friend of ours from chiropractic school who actually came out to Phoenix right when we graduated.
Oh, wow.
Yep, and he said that there's some job opportunities out here if you guys have any interest in coming. So I had to sit my husband down and kind of lay it out for him and get him on the plane because he really didn't want to move.
Yeah.
But as soon as we took a flight out here in January of 2009, and by March we were headed out this way.
Wow, just a few months.
Yep, just
You're
a few
like,
months.
We're shutting down our practices and we're out of here.
Yep.
Wow.
It was just, it was a huge move for us, but it really was something that we internally needed to do for ourselves and for our marriage and for our family. And, it was the best move that we could have made.
That's awesome. So, I want to back up a little bit. I got so excited about the whole Erie connection. I got ahead of myself a little bit, but so with growing up in I mean, look, you're on you're even further north than Erie, where you grew up, so you probably get an extra foot or two of snow. It's crazy how much snow I mean, it's crazy. My wife's told me. We were up there at the tail end of winter. She was showing me where she grew up, and I'm like, the lake is frozen solid still, like.
The waves are frozen.
The waves, right.
Yes.
You can't even, it's hard to walk out on it because there's these giant ice shards sticking up that will kill you if you fall on them. So, but anyway, so growing up as a kid, typically I think there's someone or something that kind of influences us as children as to who or what we become as adults.
Right, right.
When I say that, what sticks out? What pops out in your head? Anything in particular?
I would say pretty much every member of my family.
Wow.
I had a huge family growing up on my mom's side. I had a little bit of a smaller family on my dad's side, but every one of my family members, my grandparents, my parents, aunts and uncles, cousins, everybody was involved in either the family business or my grandfather was a fisherman on Lake Erie. He'd be up at, 3 a.m. fishing and home by 3, that type of thing, And so I really saw the work ethic in my grandparents. My other grandfather owned the EMS services, all the ambulance services in Southern Ontario. It was a family business growing up. where all my cousins were involved. My dad was part of it. So I really saw that in my family. And that's really always stuck with me.
Wow. So that it sounds like you had a huge entrepreneurial influence
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely. Yes.
And I'm trying to get better with saying but it's just who I am. So I had a heckler the other day giving me crap about it. But anyway, so with the way that you grew up, watching that work ethic, like I asked you, I said 8 o'clock's not too early, is it? You're like, no, not at all.
No,
Like,
I was up at 4. I just finished a workout. My trainer comes to the house 3 days a week, so I just worked out for an hour.
oh my God. You were up at 4?
I have to say I'm probably asleep by 7:30, but
Oh, are you?
yeah, I get more work done first thing in the morning than I do late at night.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'm the exact opposite of that, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I like early mornings. It's just I get like this second wave or something at night, and I'll be working, and I'll look up, and it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh God, I better get to bed. But with the influences that you had, what made you decide that you, like, are there chiropractors in your family?
Nope, there's no chiropractors. There's lots of nurses. So I've got aunts and cousins that are nurses.
Okay.
Every one of my father, my grandfather, all of my uncles, a lot of my cousins, they're all EMT. So they have always been in that field. So I always wanted to be a physician of some sort. I wanted to be a doctor of some sort. Then when I really started looking into it and getting into that aspect of it, I didn't know if I could cut on people, being a surgeon, that kind of thing. And so chiropractic just kind of fell into my lap where, it was still in that realm of helping people, but it was a different kind of way of helping people.
That's awesome. I by the way, I know there's a lot of people that think chiropractic is a joke, or I've heard it. I'm sure you've heard it.
Yep, absolutely.
But I got to tell you, I ruptured the disc between L4 and L5 about 6-7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. But and I ended up going to an surgeon,
orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah. And he looked at the X-rays and he looked at everything and he said, you're too young. You don't want me cutting on you. And I'm like, really? And he's like, no. And he suggested chiropractic to me. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going to this lady that put me on a machine that kind of stretched me out and back.
Decompression.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my sciatic nerve was pinched against the spine. I walked out of there a new man that day. So, I truly believe in chiropractic. I think it's for the right person, if they know what they're doing, it's unbelievable. Right. It's amazing.
Chiropractic in itself really is all about education. It's educating your patients. If you don't have a patient that's educated on what you're doing for them or how you can help them,
right.
How getting adjusted one time isn't going to fix it. It's a treatment plan type of thing. It's like going to the gym and working out. Then that patient just isn't the right fit for your office. And so we've really learned that over the years.
Yeah.
So it really is about education.
Right. I agree with you 1,000%. So you knew you wanted to be in medical. You just didn't want to cut people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to work with kids. So I always wanted to be like a pediatrician of some sort. I had some, interest in cardiac. So things like that. And now with everything that I'm doing with the charity and everything like that, it's really just kind of all come full circle. I'm helping kids. I'm helping, people. I'm a doctor. It's everything is all there.
That's amazing. So you ended up, we'll fast forward back to Erie. You get on a plane. It's March. You're like, goodbye, snow, and you head to Phoenix. Now, when you went to Phoenix, was it for a job, or were you starting your own practice?
Both. We started our own practice, but with a company that helped us set up. Okay. So Yep, they trained us. They got us into the practice. We were in there with another partner. So you have a building, you're sharing employees. You have a marketing team, and they really teach you how to get your practice up and going and run it very efficiently.
Okay. So tell me about how that all happened. I mean, how it went from there. Like
Yeah, so that was very, very tough. So when you move across the country, we didn't have very much money to move. So we put everything that we could in a truck, spent the last little bit of the money that we had to get the truck across country. I flew, and then my husband drove a car with the rest of our belongings. And for the next, I would say 6 years after that, it was playing catch up.
Wow.
We were in our practices, so we had to work from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, 5 days a week, making sure the practice succeeded. He was in his own on one side of the city. I was in my own practice on another side of the city. And we're not in Erie anymore. It's not 20 minutes away. Now we're an hour away with traffic.
Yeah.
We're not close to where we live because we're both on different sides of the city. So it was extremely tough with our kids. I have a stepson who's 16 who lives in St. Louis, and then we've got a 13-year-old son now. So he was only 3 when we moved here.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult not having family members. We had lots of friends here, but we didn't have any family to help us out. So we struggled for about 6 years living paycheck to paycheck, making sure we could afford a babysitter, our health insurance, all of that stuff until the practices really started getting going.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary. I've done that. Like it's very, very scary. Let's talk about though, because I think, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that want to become entrepreneurs,
Right.
or people again that get stuck and don't like. Let's talk about the timeline, because you said you went out there, you had no money, and did you experience the times? Because my wife and I, I'm sure you've been through it where you're like, you get home, you both have had a 12 or 14, 16-hour day, and you're still like, can't even go to the grocery store right now. We're so broke, right? Or whatever. And then you, of course, fight with each other and all that. But like, let's talk about that, because that's where people need to hear, like, dude, you got to put in, like, it takes a long time.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. I've always run the money in the family. I paid the bills. When you're making a very strict wage and you've got bills to pay, you've got to make sure that we didn't go out to eat.
Right.
In Phoenix, most of the houses have pools. So we made sure that we rented a house that had a pool, and we stayed at home all the time.
Yeah.
We had people over. We would, sit in our pool on the weekends. That was our entertainment. We stopped going out to eat. We didn't really do anything that was outside of our budget. We had an extremely strict budget that we had to stick to for a very long time.
Right.
We didn't travel at all. Our traveling didn't really start until the past, 4 or 5 years. Anything that you could do to stay in your business and keep it going in order to survive is really what we did.
And I think, again, people see, a lot of entrepreneurs out there with, traveling and private jets and humongous fifth wheels and and they think, oh, look at Kristy and her fifth wheel. She's just lucky. Right? And that's not what it is it?
It's not. It's not. It took us 15 years to get to where we're at. We were an overnight success after 15 years of hard work.
That's right.
Of hard work.
Yeah. That's right. So Martin and Chelsea Matthews are on here, by the way. They're
nice.
I love those two.
Me too.
So, matter of fact, it's Chelsea's fault that I named my book Walls of Wisdom. She kept calling me stuff like that. But anyway, so with the, so you put in all this work. Did you ever get to the place, And this is almost a rhetorical question. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but did you ever get to the place where you were like, what are we doing? We need to just go get jobs.
Absolutely. I want to say that place was probably about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago for me. We worked so hard. We were struggling. Even after, once the 6-year mark passed, then we were able to, have a little bit more money, a little bit more freedom, but it was still, a struggle.
Right.
So about 3 years ago, it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. We need a little bit more. I actually went out and got a job.
Wow.
We decided to close down one of our practices. We sold it. And I went back into practice with my husband, which is something we had not done in a very long time. The gentleman who was on the other side of the practice, I purchased that other half of the practice. So now Tom and I own the entire clinic. We didn't have a partner in there, which gave us more freedom for me to pull myself out of the office and work on the business. But then I went out and took a job somewhere. It was with a company that we were utilizing for procedures that we were just starting to do.
Yeah.
And I was there all the time. And so I decided it's a really good fit for me to get a job there. I've got a paycheck now from an outside source that's not reliant on my business. And I did that for maybe 6-8 months to just get us ahead until everything else with our second company that we had just started, Unity Physician Services, started kicking in. And then I transitioned into that company.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. So, how did that go though? I mean, were there still bumps? Were there hiccups?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There really were. The biggest thing for me was I was able to just bring in a paycheck from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's what we needed at that point in time.
Yeah.
Just to float us while we were getting the second company, up and going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I have a boss, and I have never had a boss in 15 years. I've always been my own boss.
Yeah.
So that was a little difficult.
And was it chiropractic? Or
no, it was we were over the past 3 years we slowly transitioned into more medical procedures.
Okay.
And so it was with a medical company that we were actually working with.
Okay.
Kind of hand in hand.
Gotcha. When you say medical procedures, what's that mean? Just I'm not sure.
Sure. So when we just owned the chiropractic offices and we were only chiropractic, we were just doing adjustments and physical therapy.
Okay.
Then in Arizona, about 4 years into it, so maybe about 6 years ago, some of the insurances dropped chiropractic. So we had to transition. And so we started bringing in nurse practitioners and medical providers to do any other procedure that we couldn't do as a chiropractor without writing prescriptions. And then we slowly transitioned into higher level medical procedures to where we're at now, where we actually employ orthopedic surgeons and spine surgeons, anesthesiologists, things like that. In our second company.
So hold on a minute. Let's
okay.
Hold on. Hang on a minute. Did I just hear that right? My sister's a nurse practitioner, so I know what kind of they make some moolah. So and I know that the anesthesiologists and they make crazy money too. So did I just hear you say we employ?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So our clinics themselves would have 1 or 2 nurse practitioners or physician assistants in the offices doing trigger point injections and helping with the treatment plans. And then about 3 years ago, when we brought on our new company, Unity Physician Services, we actually got into more of the medical space where we now have outpatient treatment centers and surgery centers, and we are doing a little bit of a higher level procedure for our patients, epidurals, joint injections, medial branch blocks, things like that, where we need an anesthesiologist, certified pain doctors to actually do those procedures.
Wow, that is incredible. That's unbelievable. So you've gone from just a few years ago not knowing which way to turn, and I had been
Yes.
there, right?
Yes.
To now you employ anesthesiologists and nurse practitioners and surgeons,
Right.
and that's insane. That's unbelievable.
Yep.
So, like Brian Hess is on here, and
Oh yeah.
we love Brian. Brian's incredible. He says, "Can you guys discuss the need for overcoming the feelings of fear that entrepreneurs face?" Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, it's a little bit tougher for me because I've got some bad anxiety. I would focus on the negative, and I really had to learn how to get out of my own head and just understand that you cannot grow if you have fear. I was fearful, 6, 7 years ago when we did the transition to medical, and I have had to just tell myself that if I want to grow and if we want to really expand this business, we have to be able to step out of our comfort zone and do the things that I never thought when I graduated that I really would be doing.
Right.
A lot of self improvement. Over the past 3 years, that's kind of when I found a lot of stuff online. That's when I kind of started meeting all of you guys and all the people online that I am now great friends with through all different types of self-improvement and, that kind of stuff. It's a learning process. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a learning process. And I still get scared. I really do. But you cannot grow if you've got fear inside of you. You just have to understand what you're doing and you have to go for it.
I totally agree with that. I'm looking at my phone over here. I wanted to pull this up. I'm friends with Bob Berg, who's an author. He wrote The Go-Giver, and his co-author's John David Mann. Well, I saw this, and I'm friends with John David Mann too, but I saw this post the other day about John David Mann and this Navy SEAL did a book together called Mastering Fear. And I'm like, and so I like, it's this Navy SEAL dude talking about how to master fear. Right. And so, and like Brian says, how to deal with the feelings of fear, overcoming the feelings of fear.
Yeah.
And this guy talks in great detail in this book about like fear. Everybody wants to push fear to the side and say it's not there and I'm overcoming fear and all of this. And he said, that's a bunch of BS. The fear is there. It's there. You have to embrace the fear. He's like, I don't see fear as my enemy. I see it as an opportunity to learn and to grow and to really take something on. And this book it's incredible. And I like books on audio. It's just, I read books and I start going like that, and I'm like, it's just it's the entrepreneur, man. You don't sleep, so. But with the fear stuff is real, and I've been there so many times, and the anxiety, I must suffer from it too, because I get really, I start that whole playing all of those debilitating tapes in my head, right? Like the whole world's coming to an end, and I'm gonna be the first one to go, So it's like. I really, it's incredible. So what are some of the things you do on a daily basis? Because again, this is about helping people get unstuck.
Right.
What are some of the things that you do on a daily basis to move the ball down the field, so to speak?
Sure. A lot of it is making sure I'm organized. That really helps, because if you're not organized and you're in a state of confusion, Coach Burt always says, if you're in a state of confusion, you're not going to be able to master anything. So I get myself organized as much as I possibly can. I notice that if I forget to do my lists for the day, if I forget to write out my game plan for the day, I'm kind of going through the day. It just doesn't work. So I always try to get myself organized as far as the business stuff goes, to make sure that I can get things actually accomplished throughout my day. From a personal level, I really try to take care of myself. I try to eat healthy. I get massages. I just relaxation time for myself. We do a lot of vacations. Most of them are with the kids, but there's a lot of times when I go out by myself, where I can take a day or two just to relax and kind of clear my head, because you need to do that for yourself in order to move forward.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yeah. So you know, I as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, especially when you said we take vacations. We went to Pittsburgh for one night the other day, and that's our summer vacation. It's like, because we're so busy building right now. You know, we moved back here a year ago from Las Vegas, as you know, and it's just been a restructuring and rebuilding thing, and so it's like I'm 50 years old and I'm like, I feel like I'm 20 again, starting all over, but that's what it takes. You've got to go all in. You've got to be willing to sacrifice now for gains later. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, you know, back when you were in chiropractic school in, did you say St. Louis?
St. Louis, yeah.
St. Louis. So back when you were in chiropractic school in St. Louis, Missouri, did you think someday I'm going to own a medical services company?
Nope. Absolutely not.
I knew that.
I thought I would be a chiropractor for the rest of my life.
Right.
I thought it was going to be me and, you know, maybe 2 or 3 front desk people, and I was going to run a successful practice, but I was going to be in it. I was going to be adjusting people for the rest of my life. And thank goodness that that's not what happened, because I don't think I could do it. I could not be in the clinic 12 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your mind. It's hard on your family. So expanding, and in order for us to grow, this was the best thing that could ever happen to me and happen to our family.
But let me ask this.
Yeah.
So at the time that all the shit was hitting the fan, it was going wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Did it feel like in that moment, did it feel like eventually I'm going to like own this big medical company that's employing surgeons? And
not that far. I knew that there would, you know, as we started hiring the nurse practitioners in the clinic, I knew that was going to be, you know, our next step. We bring nurse practitioners in, and then maybe I can bring a chiropractor in to help me adjust, and then I see the new patients and kind of move myself out, so I'm not doing a lot of the physical work. I still never thought that we were going to be at the spot we are today. We're expanding into Indianapolis. We've got a huge surgery center being built right now in North Phoenix. We've had 2 inspections in the last 2 weeks on smaller ones that we're doing here. So I never thought that we would be in this space.
Wow. Yep. That's incredible. So, but I mean, you know, you guys are, I mean, you're hitting some big strides in life now, and I mean, big. And so like, I guess I want the audience to know that you may be in a position right now that feels like it's never going to end, that you're never going to make it, but like you just got to keep pushing and no pun intended, but you got to make adjustments.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Absolutely.
And
I think the one thing that I've learned on this journey is that you are not who you are today. You're not that person tomorrow. 10 years ago, I was just a chiropractor. Now I'm a business owner. I'm, you know, I could literally do anything that I wanted, aside from maybe like, you know, being a surgeon now, because I'm not going to go back to school for that. But, you know, I'm taking my real estate class. I could be a real estate agent if I wanted. I could really do anything that I wanted. I'm not limited by what I thought I was 10 years ago. I really, my mind has been open to the fact that I could do whatever I want if I put my mind to it. Now, you can say that and then not have the time or the energy to do it. You really need to focus on the things that you want to do in order to get to that spot. Right. But the sky is really the limit right now.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So if you, I guess if you look at everybody that you've met, and I'm not talking about from a medical standpoint, right, although I truly believe I played golf with a guy a couple weeks ago, found out that he runs cancer research at the Ohio State University or something. Wow. And he's a Chinese guy. And I said, well, I kind of, I believe more in the like almost Buddhist type stuff that, are not, and I'm not saying I'm a Buddhist, so I don't want any hate mail. But like, I'm saying that like, we are all forms of energy, and I believe in the placebo big time, right? So
Right.
I truly believe that whatever emotional charge you're carrying or whatever, it's going to eventually manifest itself in your body.
Right.
Do you believe that?
I believe maybe not so much in your body, but I just believe that in your life.
Yeah.
I believe that when I put things down, I go through lists that I wrote years ago, and all that stuff has happened. I've got my vision boards. I've got, I write stuff down that I want, or that the goals I want to reach, because I know when I write it down, my life is on track to hit that. And eventually I will get to that point. So I absolutely do believe in that.
Yeah. So when you see people, my wife, by the way, said this is an amazing story. It's probably because of the Erie connection.
Yeah.
No, you're amazing. So
Thank
so you. With the like, if somebody is stuck, what do you think? I mean, of all the people you've seen in life and you talk to and you've met or reach out to you, like, what do you feel is the number one thing that's keeping people stuck in life?
I think fear is definitely one of them.
Okay.
I think that people have a fear of change. See, I love change. My staff hates me for it, because I walk in the office and I'm like, we need to change things because that's how we grow. So I think people have a fear of change. They want things to stay the same, but unfortunately in business, in life, it's changing around you. So you really have to adapt and you have to flow with it. I think that's the biggest thing, is you have to get over that in order to understand that making that change could actually potentially be the sticking point for you. You get over that hump, and that could, get you to the other side.
So you got to be open to and willing to change.
Absolutely. You really do. If you're stuck in your ways, it's very difficult to grow.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
So with the, if you met somebody that came to you and said, my electric's getting turned off tomorrow, I'm being evicted, my business is in a tailspin, what's the first thing that you're going to say to them that's going to, help them? Because some people are like, just get over it, come on, hustle. Like Gary Vee, I can just hear Gary Vee going, come on, man, you just got to hustle more. And it's like, man, if you're at that place, there's something going on. What would you say to that person?
I think so. I've had this happen before, and I've gone through it. So I know that when you're in times of real need in both your business and in your life, you've got to look at everything and really say, is that necessary? Is that necessary? Do I need to be driving, that expensive car, or do we need to be, do I need cable? I can't tell you how many times we've gone through our life and I've shut off our cable because it's $100 bill every month, and I know that money can go towards something else to get us back on track.
Right.
It's not forever. So I think the biggest thing is just looking at somebody's life, and if your business is going down, number one, why is it? And it's not the end of the world if you just cut it loose. You've got to understand that. If it's something that you can fix and grow it, then you do it. But if it's something that's dragging you down, you've got to cut it loose and you've got to start over.
Right.
There's no shame in that. There really isn't. We've started over quite a few times. Something that we've tried just hasn't worked, and so we've just cut it loose and we've started over. But I think that's the biggest thing, is you can't be afraid of failure, because failure really isn't failure. It's just a stepping stone to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. Tony Acurio says, Tony's awesome, by the way. He says, what one goal is most important to you?
I have a goal of creating a legacy for myself that's bigger than my business. So my businesses are not legacies for me. They're something I do. They're a vehicle for me to be able to do more. So I think that creating a legacy that encompasses me when something happens to me, and you're at my funeral and you're talking about me, what do you remember me by? You don't remember me by the hard work in the businesses that I created. You remember me by my legacy, and that's really what I'm working towards.
That might be the best answer I've had to that question
Oh.
ever. So, let's talk about some of this. First, and this is a little early, but I want everybody to know exactly how to follow you. Let's talk about
Okay.
that.
Well, I'm on Facebook at my Facebook name is Kristy Rutgers Morgan. It's got my maiden name in there. I usually use that more for my personal. You don't see a lot of my business stuff on there, but my family's on there.
Right.
We have Pain Stop Avondale. Our Facebook page is Pain Stop Avondale. We have Unity Physician Services. We have a Facebook page for Unity Physician Services. And then we also have Candle Wishes Arizona, which is our foundation that we brought out to Phoenix.
So and that's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about some of that stuff, because I know you are quite the philanthropist, and you give back, and so but before we get to that, what in the business sense, what's big, what's going on, what's coming up, anything?
We just purchased two real estate buildings, one in Indianapolis and one in Arizona. We've got a surgery center in Indianapolis that inside that building that we are getting relicensed. So we have expanded. This is our first expansion into a different market outside of Arizona. And then we've got two more in Arizona that are getting licensed right now, two larger ones. So I think the expansion is our biggest thing. Indiana was our first state to expand to, and then once we kind of settle down over the next couple months with getting these licensed and going, then we'll go into different states.
So you've got processes, and you've figured out how to duplicate them.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
That's McDonald's 101. Really? Right?
Yeah. And we're learning. I mean, every day is still a learning process,
Sure.
but that's our biggest goal, is to get everything scalable, so we're able to scale.
That's incredible. So you've got all that going on. Did I hear you say somewhere that you're retired? Did I hear you say that on?
Well, technically, I went to school to become a chiropractor. I don't adjust anymore. I don't,
I got you.
I'm not in the office anymore. So technically I am retired.
That's awesome.
Our banker was just asking us the other day, at what age do you want to retire, so that we can we're working out all of our stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, there's never an age that I'm going to retire, because I'm not doing the same physical labor that I used to do.
Right.
So every day for me is like I'm in retirement. I love what I do. I love the businesses that I'm in. I love the charity that I'm working with. So there's not really an age that I want to retire. We're doing everything that we want to now.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how I feel.
That is so awesome. I love that. So, and it's not real. And I mean, it's so cliche. And I know Grant Cardone and people say, like, you don't have to love what you do to be successful.
Right.
And I agree with that. But
Right.
like, I love what we do here, and we work out of our home. So it's like every day is literally well, how far is your commute to work? I'm like, down the stairs.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, down the stairs.
That's
Yep.
it, right? So, but like, one of the things that I love about you is you're a giver. You're
Thank
giving back, and so let's talk about your charity, because that's amazing. And I'll tell everybody what we talked about last night, because that's one of my biggest goals in life is to give back, and I'm going to help you as much as I can.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Let's tell them about it.
So a couple months ago, I was out in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I just happened to go to a lunch meeting with a friend of mine who's on the board of a charity out there. And I met a wonderful woman named Jenny Williams. She was 15 when she started her charity. She's 30 now. And what she does is she throws birthday parties for underprivileged children in her community. The charity is called Candle Wishes, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I have been looking for something to do out in Phoenix. Like I said, I need to solidify my legacy. So when I met her, I knew that this was exactly what I wanted to do. So we have brought Candle Wishes to Arizona, and this is our first expansion project with it. It's the first time that it's in a big city. Murfreesboro it's a big town, but it's not as big as the city of Phoenix.
Right.
So we've got some challenges, and we're trying to work through them to make sure that when we go to our next big city, we've got them all worked out.
So Candle Wishes does what exactly?
So we throw birthday parties and give birthday presents to underprivileged children in the community.
Now,
so if a child basically qualifies for the Angel Tree program at Christmas time, Jenny had thought, well, what does that look like on their birthdays? If the parent can't afford Christmas, their birthdays are special too. So we really piggyback off of the Angel Tree program, and if a child qualifies that, then they also qualify for birthday parties.
Wow. That is so cool. So, wow. And how many of these birthday parties a year are you able to do, or how's that work? How do you get the money in? And
so in Murfreesboro right now, she throws one party a month, and I think she helped up about 750 children last year. So 70 kids a month. Yep, wow. That's after 15 years. So in Phoenix, the one party a month concept really goes out the window because we have so many children. Yeah. So we're starting in different areas. So I'm estimating by the time we're finished with Phoenix and growing it, we'll throw about 4 to 5 birthday parties a month around the city. And then if we've got 75 to 100 kids at each party, that grows from there.
Wow. That is so awesome. That's so awesome.
Our goal. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And have you gotten any press, media coverage over all of this?
We're starting. So it really is just myself, and I have an assistant director that I hired, and then I've got a couple board members out here who are helping us, but it's really just us. We just picked up a school that's about an hour southwest of Phoenix. It's in a very low-income area. There's 500 children at the school, and we took on the entire school because we had a heart-to-heart with the principal, and he's like, Kristy, every child in my school really qualifies. You've got to come see it. So we went from 0 to 500 kids instantly. So that's where we're starting, and we have a big fundraiser August 31st in Chandler where we just want to get the word out. About Candle Wishes and about our program, and start raising money to help with the birthday presents. We'll throw the parties right now. We'll bring my fifth wheel. I've got a giant bouncer. We'll do pizza and hot dogs, and we'll bring it all with us and kind of set up there. It's the presents and sponsoring the children that we're trying to raise money for.
That is absolutely amazing. So is there a website for it, for raising the money?
So on our Facebook page, Candle Wishes Arizona, we have a Give ID platform where people can, they can donate. We've got the website is candlewishes.org, but right now the website's kind of catered more towards the Tennessee. So really our Facebook page is the main place to go.
Well, I'm going to do this live. I'll build you a free website
wow.
for the Arizona, and we'll set up a donation area so you can get, and then I'm going to take your we already talked about this, but I want to take your video. You said there's a little video. We're going to cut it down, and I'm going to start using Candle Wishes as like a sponsor of the show. And we'll just play a little video on every show to get some traction for you, because I think it's incredible. And quite frankly, years ago I heard that Tony Robbins does the big the Thanksgiving thing where he takes So years ago I started doing that here in the Columbus, Ohio market. buying, like, I remember the first year it was like 3 meals for needy families, and the last time we did it, we bought like 50 of them, and trying to give back. And so that's so close to my heart, you have no idea. So I really
appreciate it.
I want to help any and every way I can. I want to help, and I think everybody watching this, if you have a soul. I'm kidding. Everybody should want to help with this. It's incredible. So I'm sure my wife, she's on here. She would be on board like that to help with the website too. So
Thank you.
I just volunteered her services. I'm kidding. She's very creative though. She'll come up with some. We'll do some cool stuff. But anyway,
awesome.
So what is what else?
That's kind of it right now. I think Candle Wishes is my biggest push right now. I mean, I work in my company every single day. That's my number one priority. I can't do what I do with Candle Wishes if my company's not running well. But the beauty of our company right now is we're starting to grow, I'm starting to create a team underneath me. And my teams, both at my clinic and at Unity, are amazing. So I really just oversee the day-to-day operations. I jump in when I need to, but I do have some availability to help, grow Candle Wishes on the side. So it's not like I'm stuck in my practice every day and not able to do it. So my life is wonderful in that sense. Really trying to balance all of that.
That's amazing, absolutely amazing. Kristy, I am, Jill said, I love this. Let's do it here. So she would love that.
I have a lot of people who have asked about it. And so really getting it stable in Phoenix and making sure it's scalable so that it doesn't, fall to the wayside is really something that we're working on right now, because I do have a lot of people that want to take it to different states. And really that's what we want. We want it to grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, we can definitely help you with it. I'm sure of that. So I'll do everything I can. But again, before we end this, are there any final words of encouragement that you would like to give to anyone watching right now who is stuck? They feel trapped. They feel stuck. They feel that they're always going to be broke or what, whatever. Are there any final words of encouragement you'd like to give them?
I think the biggest thing is just that's a tough one, because it does get discouraging. But if you've got a plan, you've got to execute it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You can't just sit and think and dream about the things that you want. You really need to execute it. And when you start putting massive action into your plan, your plans will work. You may have to veer off into different directions at times, but you really need to really take that action, and things will start coming together.
Love it. So have a plan.
Yep.
You got to be charitable.
Yep.
You got to help, right? You don't say that because you're so humble, but it's the truth. That is a huge part of success. It's probably the biggest part of success.
You have to be ethical.
Yes.
You have to be a good person. I mean, if you have those qualities, things will start to happen. They really will.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. Kristy, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being on the show. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much. I'm
so grateful you took the time. And to everybody watching, make sure you follow Kristy if you're not already. And stay tuned, because I'm going to have a Candle Wishes video pretty soon playing on here. And this is awesome. This is awesome. So thank you again. Thank you to everyone who shared this and all the hearts and the thumbs up and everything. Thank you all. And
thank you.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.